Hello. This is the 103rd Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2223, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. Before we start, Simon, did I mention about the meteor shower?
You mentioned it in passing, but you didn't say what it was about.
Mozart is throwing one for Fonzie. It's the meteor that's passing by soon, and she's throwing a meteor shower.
So very nice.
And she invited me.
Well, when is it?
I didn't prepare.
Meaning, so just is it coming up like soon, or is it a few months?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. Okay.
Exactly. And then she invited mostly robots, but I get to come too.
Ah, very nice.
So, and I thought...
was your first time going to one?
No, I've been to a few, but not recently. Like, it really depends. Sometimes there's more meteors passing, sometimes less. So, but I thought maybe we can, because Fonzie is a big thing, right? So maybe we can make it a topic in one of the future episodes.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So cool to have that out of the way. But today is not about meteor showers.
No. Today, did we mention this? So it's about Emperor Sponsianus.
Yeah, or I think...
I was going to ask, how do you pronounce that?
Sponsianus,
that's better. So this is about, this week's episode is about Emperor Sponsianus.
Exactly. It's a famous or infamous...
infamous.
Yeah, infamous Roman emperor. And even heavily debated because a lot of people apparently... were convinced he didn't exist.
Right.
It's, of course, the Romans, they lived a really long time ago, like 2,000 years.
Yeah, well, I think even longer. So they had an empire spanned some centuries, 2,000 years ago, thereabouts. And,
of course, we're being really awesome about sending this podcast back 200 years in time, but these Romans... they lived 2,000 years.
Exactly. We're not sending our podcast back that far.
No, not that we know of, anyway.
Correct.
But why are we speaking about Sponsianus?
Well, to give it away a little bit, he's going to be our guest in a few minutes.
Yes.
I'm giving stuff away, you know?
Spoiler.
Big spoiler. But how can a Roman emperor from 2,000 years ago be our guest? Well, that's where the show is.
Exactly, because the debate that I mentioned, of course, now Sponsianus is looking at us because we blew the lid. But the thing is, for a lot of time, people were convinced he didn't exist until a coin was found somewhere in Romania with his name on it. Yeah,
that was a couple of hundred years ago.
Something like that, yeah. And then there was more evidence, but people still weren't convinced. And then they found his grave, and then people still weren't convinced.
And that was more recently, yeah. That was like last year they found the grave.
It's like not too long ago. Yeah, true. And then, so what do people in the 23rd century do when they are not sure if the grave belongs to a person?
Clone, so get some DNA samples from the grave and grow yourself a clone.
Exactly. Not just physically, but with his memories.
Of course. I mean, otherwise you couldn't ask him any questions.
And then, of course, the big question that everybody had. So was this guy really Sponsianus? And did he actually exist?
Sure. I mean, that was the bigger question. Yeah. So is the person in the grave Sponsianus? Sure. But then the bigger question is, was that person the emperor who has been rumored to have existed? But there wasn't enough evidence.
And then we thought we could speak about this or we could invite him.
And both. So we would talk a little bit up front and then ask the emperor here some questions directly.
So you mentioned it already. There's 3 of us here.
Yep.
So I would say a round of applause for Sponsianus.
Sure.
Hello.
Do you want us to call you Mr. Sponsianus or Emperor?
You can just call me Sponsianus.
Okay.
That's nice.
After all, it's my name.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, Sponsianus. I'm not. I guess if he's a real emperor, we get to call him by his name. Then we're in. Then
we're in good.
Yeah, we're in good. Exactly. So Sponsianus. First question: are you really Sponsianus?
Yes, I am. My name is Sponsianus.
And are you the same Sponsianus that lived a really long time ago.
Yes, actually, today is my 2000th birthday.
What?
So,
Whoa.
Felix Natalis to myself.
Indeed. Happy birthday.
Felix Natalis. Wow, that's a coincidence.
That's impressive.
Okay, so what do people usually do when they celebrate their 2000th birthday?
I think you're the first person to have done so.
Exactly. I was going to say that I was impressed about the future, that the people live so much longer, but I'm the first person experiencing the 2000 years old, so I will need to improvise tonight.
Yes.
I guess I will drink wine like we used to do in the Roman time.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's true, actually. We're we feel pretty good about our 150 years lifespan. Mm-hmm. But this guy is 2,000 years old.
I mean, I understand where we're going with this on account of you were born that long ago, Sponsianus, but you weren't alive the whole time, yeah? And I think that's more what people mean when they celebrate their birthdays.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah,
okay, well then...
Not to bring you down. I mean, it's still impressive, yeah? You were alive, you were born 2,000 years ago, and here you are today talking with us on our show. That's no small feat.
And I'm very glad because this is my first podcast because there was no podcast last time I was alive.
I see.
Yes, I guess so. Cool.
Right.
And another mystery solved about the Roman times. They
Right,
didn't have any podcasts.
They did not have podcasts.
That's why we didn't get any emails about our podcast episodes getting back in time. They just couldn't listen to it.
That follows.
So...
to be honest, I'm still catching up with the future. I don't know what emails is, but we can also talk about this later.
Sure.
Yes, to be honest, we didn't know what email was either. We also had to research that. It's a really weird invention from the past. But you mentioned before, like, so you do have your memories from the 3rd century, right? So
yes.
Do you? Maybe it's a weird question, but what was it like?
Well, actually, the smell was different.
Okay.
You know, like every time you need food, you need to kill some animal. I mean, we were in a very big crisis and pandemic. So, actually, I would like to talk later about this topic because I saved the Dacia for being completely forgotten. Okay. And I was very astonished and very sad to read all this conspiracy theory about me being a very bad guy, when actually the Roman Emperor left us alone and we had to deal with the situation.
What was the situation?
So the situation was that the Dacia was part of the Roman Empire and then they forgot about us. Once the pandemic started, they just...
but what was the pandemic? We don't...
Yes?
At least I don't know about this.
Oh, you don't know about this? Okay. Well, I can start one step backwards. I was a legionary soldier for the Roman Empire and was in Dacia in a mission for the stability of the region. And then the Roman Empire started to collapse and divide in different parts, and the power was not so strong like before. And we were completely left alone. So me and my soldiers, I mean, we are talking about 10,000 people, we had to survive with the ingredients that we had. So basically with the few people and the few knowledge that we had, and therefore we had to start economy. So my mission was to make Dacia great again.
Okay, but it's true. It's anything I've read or heard about Sponsianus was that he basically tried to take over as an emperor, but you're essentially saying there was nobody there and somebody needed to take charge.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just save the Dacia. I didn't want to be an emperor. Actually, I was never an emperor. I was just a general taking care of my area.
So
because this is what I promised to the Roman Empire.
Okay, and so you never
to give my life.
To give your life?
To give my life for my country.
So what's the story with the coin? Because of course that was basically for centuries you were like the coin emperor. Like there was one coin fine.
Yeah, so basically, when the crisis started, there was this pandemic, no? Everybody was sick, nobody was producing anything, there was not agriculture. That's why I say, to eat, we had to kill animal, because it was the only resource. And the people start bartering. So basically, there was not economy anymore. You know, if somebody want to a sheep and nobody has something against it, he cannot eat and die. So we needed a coin as soon as possible. So, of course, we could not wait. The Roma deliver this machinery or deliver the coins. So we start to make our own coin. And, of course, we use primitive technology. So that's why they don't look so great.
Sure.
Okay. Yes, it's true, because if you look at the coin now, and we of course, you're in the room with us, you can see a resemblance. So I guess you could argue, yes, it's you. You could also argue somebody else, but it is you.
But if I understood,
I mean, look at me. I'm exactly the same. Look at the profile.
Yeah,
it's exactly, I mean, I don't have the crown anymore because it's been stolen in my grave. However, my face is still as pretty as before.
yes, yeah, definitely. It's sad about the crown. We should get a crown. Maybe we can have a crown printed.
Could do, yeah.
No? So, but then what I find is pretty interesting is I've never heard somebody speak Latin before that knows how to pronounce things. You said before Felix, what was again? Happy birthday in Latin?
Felix Natalis.
So there's these are the first Latin words being spoken by a native speaker in like 2,000 years.
Right. Right. People who speak Latin now are guessing at the pronunciation, but they don't need to anymore.
So the Latin you're speaking, Sponsianus, is that like the real true Latin?
Well, my Latin is a sort of dialect from the east side of Europe, because I was born in the today Transylvania. So actually, my accent could be also a bit different from the Roman original accent. But at that time, the accent was very, very similar, because the Roman Empire spread so quickly that everybody was speaking Latin in basically the same way.
Okay. I thought
the most important word is Ave, is the greeting that you do, for example, to Caesar.
Oh, yeah. But we didn't resurrect Caesar. Actually, we didn't actually. I'm saying we. You're the only person we've managed to resurrect so far
from the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Oh, this feels like an honor. Yeah. Because actually, do you know what my name means?
No. What does it mean?
I feel like a sort of predestinated person, because my name means solemnly promise.
Oh.
And it sounds like that when I was born, my parents promised that I will make a difference in this world. And probably that's thanks to me, the Dacia survived these bad times, and today is one of the most beautiful part of Europe.
True, probably thanks to you. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned today. I thought maybe that's an interesting take, because our listeners, I'm not sure if we explained that properly, but our listeners are 200 years ago. So those are basically
1,800 years later than when you were alive, Sponsianus.
Exactly. So, and we tell them about the 23rd century, but of course it's our perspective on the 23rd century. Maybe you tell our listeners what you think of the 23rd century. So what do you like about the 23rd century, for example? So
first of all, I think one of the greatest inventions that has been since I was dead until now, it was the invention of the calendar. You know, I had some argument with my wife because I forgot our anniversary. And with the calendar, nothing can go wrong. That's why I found out today is my birthday, theoretically. And
you didn't have calendars back then?
Do you mean like digital
really.
calendars, like the kind that speak to you, or do you just mean calendars at all?
Calendars at all. I mean, we count the years in a very different way.
I guess also the Roman numbers.
We follow the sun and the moon.
I'm thinking, like, what do you like most about the 23rd century? I'm expecting like teleportation or so, but calendars. Cool. We should do an episode about calendars.
Well, I have to say that these Congos are amazing. So basically, I can have a wonderful steak without go hunting and make all the dirty job.
Right, you don't need to.
And to be honest,
slaughter or cut up the animal.
Exactly. And actually, I feel so good about it because I don't have this bad feeling in the background anymore. I can just enjoy a juicy steak without the suffering in the background.
Sure, that's a big advantage.
What I didn't like in the modern time, I don't like of the 23rd century is this wrestling on TV. I mean, at my time, wrestling used to be a real sport. And now it looks like fake. Also because you invented this slow motion. You see that people don't touch each other and they just fall on the ground. What is this?
I mean, as far as I know, that's what wrestling is. How was it different in your time?
Well, in my time, it was a real fight.
And I understand there was slow motion. But wait, you mean really people would hurt each other?
People were actually hurting each other?
Yeah, of course. People were killing each other. Depends on the strength of the athlete.
But wait, that wasn't illegal? It's illegal because you know it's illegal to kill people now, yeah?
Is it?
Yeah. Well, you've not been killing anyone, have you?
No, not directly.
Okay.
Right, I mean, as I said before, I've been killing animals.
You used to,
sorry about it.
Oh, but wait,
yes.
You've been doing that now, like since you've been cloned?
No. Since I'm cloned, I'm just using this amazing machine.
Yeah, the Congo.
And I don't need to do anything.
Right. No, that's all good. So long as you've not been killing anyone here in the 21st century.
It's kind of being frowned upon nowadays.
Yeah. But then it sounds like not just animals, but that it was okay to kill people also 2,000 years ago.
I mean, during a fight in the circus, actually, not only they kill each other, but all the audience go inside the stadium and drink the blood of the warrior.
For real?
Because we thought that drinking the blood of the warrior will make us warrior itself.
That's pretty gruesome from my perspective.
Okay. Nice. Okay, then so besides podcasts, we've also had some other evolutions then since the third century.
Okay, but right, you were saying, so the thing you don't like is wrestling for that reason, yeah? That it's pretend, basically.
It's fake.
Yeah.
It's just fake.
I see. Would it be better if they had fake blood and they drank the fake blood? No, it would still be fake.
No. Fake is always fake. Okay. I don't like it.
I see.
I already don't like that they put fake news about my person.
Sure.
So fake is something that doesn't belong to me.
You like things that are authentic.
I've been very transparent. Yes, authentic, transparent. The truth must be told.
We shouldn't tell him about the meat that comes from the Congo.
Let's not say anything about that.
Is there anything you miss from the 3rd century?
My wife.
Oh.
Of course.
You know, this Congo is amazing, but how she was cooking is incomparable.
Okay. You remember some recipes? Maybe we can write them down, program the Congos.
Well, the point is, at that time, recipe didn't have a name.
So
we call it food.
You would just simply ask your wife for something, but you wouldn't give it a name, or she would know what you wanted?
Yeah, basically I have food in my plate and I just eat from there. And I had plenty of different food.
Sure, and she could read you.
But I have a spoiler alert.
It worked out.
But I have a spoiler alert.
Oh, what's that?
the Caesar salad was not at the Caesar's time.
Oh. I mean, I think I knew that, but I'm going to act surprised. So was there a dish named for Caesar that was different, or there was no dish with his name?
No, there was no dish about Caesar.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I knew the one we eat now was like that. It was a mod. No way was it 2,000 years old. I knew that much. That's good for the confirmation, though.
Okay. I think Augustus will be pleased because Julius Caesar got a month named after him. Then Augustus got a month named after him, and then Caesar also got a salad.
Right.
It's kind of like, okay, we both had a month, that should be good enough, but he also wants a salad.
Sure. So, but that will only be an issue if Emperor Augustus is ever cloned. That's probably not going to happen.
Let's not do that.
Actually, I had another question for you, Sponsianus. How did you get along with the emperors that you did meet? Or did you never meet them in person?
Well, at the beginning was a great relationship. At the end, they sent me to Dacia because it was one of the best places in our empire. The point is then they forgot about us. So I have a double feeling about them, I was happy at the beginning and sad at the end.
That's fair.
I'm seeing a pattern here. You're a great guy. Let's promote you to go to some really remote region, go do some things, and then by the way, there's a pandemic there, and bye. Okay. So then
actually, I heard that I missed a pandemic 200 years ago.
Yes, there's been a few pandemics since then.
Yeah, they crop up regularly.
Yeah, but we've got them covered now.
Sure. Now with the cyborg chips, we're all good.
Yeah, I think was it COVID-29 was the last pandemic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, from 21-29. Yeah.
But I had another question, Sponsianus. What will you go do now that you're here? Do you have any plans for the 23rd century and you?
Well, I heard that right now you have these flying cars, and one of this brand is called Dacia. So I thought, maybe I can be a shareholder of this company.
Nice. You can make Dacia great again.
I can make Dacia great again.
Again, it could be
again and again.
Oh, let's make Dacia great again.
Is it not doing so well? I've not been keeping up to date. Does it need to be improved? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. I think the slogan works, and then
sure,
and then they can have your face on the cars.
Like a new
that
symbol.
will be the logo. That will be the new logo, definitely.
Okay, cool. So you're here for a couple of months, and you're planning to overtake Dacia. That's ambitious. I think I have one question that I wasn't sure if I was going to ask, but we've been recording a bunch of podcast episodes. But only the 29th episode was the first one we got an email back about. But we've sent them all back in time using different technology. But since episode 29, we're using the same technology. So we've been reaching the people 200 years ago. But I've always wondered, where did the other 28 episodes go? So it's a long shot.
Sure, but we'd like to know, Sponsianus, did you ever hear of our show before? Meaning 2,000 years ago, did you ever hear of us?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I was very busy in saving the Dacia.
You didn't have so much time to listen, and like you mentioned before, there were no podcasts, but you mean you also didn't have time to listen to like theater or
radio?
No, as I said earlier, just to print the coins was such a big challenge for us that, and then of course, fighting the pandemic, fighting the civil war. We also had a civil war because, when the Roman left, everybody wanted to dominate there, and I could not allow that the territory that belonged to Roman Empire just go to some other tribes. This is unacceptable for me.
Right,
I promise long life commitment to the Roman Empire.
Well, and there you go. 2,000 years later, you're still committed. But it's interesting. I'm asking, hey, did you get to hear a podcast? And you're saying, sorry, I was busy saving a country. Yeah, okay, priorities.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think most of our listeners are not doing such great feats, and they probably just listen to us on their commute.
But if they do, good for you. Thanks.
Even better, yeah, but yeah.
Thanks for the great feats, and thanks for listening. Multitasking. I didn't have any more questions, actually. Do you have any?
Just after we finish recording here, Sponsianus, what's your next step? What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, I'm going to have food because I'm very hungry. And for the future, for the next days, you mean, or the next weeks?
Yeah, like you're here relatively fresh in the 21st century. Like you just mentioned taking over that car brand maybe, but anything else?
Well, I apply for a job in the company. I'm not taking over.
Okay.
I mean, I want to be a shareholder in the company, you know.
But not like
I think you have. I think. Sorry to say, but I think you have some bias based on what some text about my previous life.
True. Yeah, and I think it's not just you.
This is probably my main target.
Yeah,
True.
This is my main target. I want to overwrite all the bad things has been told about me by showing who I am. You know, I even heard I'm a usurper. You know?
Yeah, that's one of the
I didn't
names.
want to rule the world. I end up ruling the Dacia because I was in Dacia, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the ruler of the world. The world is so big. It was so big already back then. And now you have even space travel. You know, this is even crazy. You know, I heard that some country even colonized the moon. There is a flag on the moon. What is this?
Not just the moon. We're even on Mars. I think you guys came up with the names of the planets, and we colonized them. Split up the work.
So, but I understand you don't have any. You don't want to be in charge of such things.
Of
companies, of moons, of planets. You don't want to be in charge of them.
If the company council decided I'm the best person to navigate the company in the right direction, I would be very glad to do it. But everything needs to be done in democracy. You know, these are the principles that I learned when I was alive the first time.
I see.
Nice.
You want to. So you have ambition, but you want to go about it the correct way.
Correct.
Nice. You're already starting to convince me. But of course, I definitely have bias after 2,000 years of rumors. It needs some thorough setting the record straight before you make an impact. So at least you have me convinced.
Yeah, you've made a good impression on us.
Well, hopefully I have other 100 years to demonstrate that, because the lifespan is now longer and I'm relatively young because I died young. So
you've got many years ahead of you, many decades ahead of you.
That sounds promising.
Great.
But to answer your question, I also want to enjoy the new technology, because at my time there was no technology.
Sure.
My house was freezing in winter. I mean, I don't know if you know, but in Dacia, it's really cold in winter.
Sure, and it's we're just getting
or
out.
At least.
I mean, it's the springtime now, but where you've been going through the winter here, but where you've been living, has it been warm, even though it's been winter?
I see. I thought I heard something about global warming.
I mean, that has happened and been dealt with. I was asking you like a question, sorry, I was agreeing with you. You were saying how 2,000 years ago your place was really cold in winter. And I was just, agreeing that now, even when it's winter, we do not get cold in our homes.
Yeah, our homes are heated.
I see.
Or homes are moved to wherever it's warm.
That too.
Okay. Well, I would say thanks a lot for answering all of our questions. Great and naive questions. I hope you enjoyed being on the show.
I really enjoyed. I'm really glad, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Then let's wrap up.
Yep, I'll wrap up the show. Our listeners 200 years ago, you who are listening to us right now, please send us an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com. put the episode 103 in the subject, that we know you're responding to this. And if you have any questions, write them in the email.
And if you have any questions for Sponsianus, feel free to ask them and we'll relay them.
Right, we'll see if we can pass them along and maybe answer them in an upcoming episode. Right, and I forgot to say, the reason we want you to write to us, not just to feed our ego, but to let us know that this did actually go back in time successfully.
Okay, then thanks everybody for listening and see you in 2000 years.
Bye-bye.